What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, spawning in the red color, playing as Poseidon. His name is the Rapl. His opponent today in the blue color, playing as Kronos. His name is Kvoth. We have yet another competitive mega random game. I mean, I've played this game now for... Man, it's nearing on 20 years. It's nearing on 20 years. And just the small things, the small differences make such a difference. The fact that I haven't seen these maps before, the fact that they're always somewhat different is enough to just keep that kind of kid in me alive playing this game to some degree. I'm excited to see how this one's going to go. We do have Kronos versus Poseidon. The Oracle's scouting around, searching for every little nook and cranny they can to find as many cows as they possibly can. If we take a look at the map now, and you see that we've got somewhat of a ghost lake kind of spawn here, but instead of the middle being frozen, it's not frozen. So you can build up in the middle and find some advantages where that's concerned. But Kronos here for Kvoth against Poseidon, an interesting matchup. This matchup here from the Poseidon perspective, and normally I kind of judge matchups based off like what the best civilizations are. So if you're like Poseidon against the best of Atlantean, which is Oranos, Poseidon struggles quite a bit. But why does Poseidon struggle quite a bit? And does Poseidon actually struggle against Atlantean? That's a question I don't really know the answer to. Part of me feels like Poseidon does fine against Kronos, because Kronos is a very different god. Kronos is like a myth unit centric god, and Poseidon has access to Atlanta, which is a really, really big deal. I love this here from Kvoth. He is bringing all of these cows back home, and he is not allowing Rapl any of them. If I was Rapl, I would start shanking the cows, because you can actually pick them off relatively quickly. But the cows all get back home here, and Rappl's going to have to leave that position there. So I'm excited to see how this matchup's going to play out. What sort of problems Poseidon is going to run into, what sort of problems Kronos is going to be running into here as well. Very, very exciting matchup, to say the very least, here, as the citizen getting started on this wood and gold and all the other good stuff, finding some extra hunt on the map. This map here, as you can see, has a decent amount of cows on it, but the hunt is also relatively well placed. It's a small amount of hunt. You've got two extra hunt packs here. Decent amount of auroch over here, a small amount of deer over here, and we do see that Kvoth over here is eating up all of his own deer. Plus, he's got that lure that is bringing in some animals here as well for himself. So, game motoring ahead. We'll see what sort of a strategy Rappl's going to be going for. Generally speaking, Poseidon, I do feel like Poseidon has got a much better classical fight than people give Poseidon credit for. Why? Because those cavalry, they're much cheaper. 10% cheaper might not seem like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, 10 cavalry, you get an 11th cavalry for free. It's a lot of resources, and it does allow you to kind of stay somewhat equal with that Atlantean economy. Plus, you've got your heroes. Plus, you've got hoplites and everything, and it's a very, very difficult army composition to deal with. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Rapl going for some sort of classical fight here. Though he does have a good back town center here. He's also got the lure in his main base, plus all of these cows. So going for a fast second town center in this matchup isn't too crazy. That being said, you're not playing against Oranos, you're playing against Kronos, so the Terma are significantly weaker. The Kronos has got a much, much better mid game with the Satyr. So yes, no, maybe, who knows? This is going to be an interesting one, to say the very least, as we do see the temple getting time shifted next to the town center. Interesting decision here. He's leaving that tower open here. He can wall this one in if he so chooses, but we'll have to wait and see how things are going to go. As Tusk of the Iron Boar going to be getting pulled back in here, going to drop into that temple there, as the Oracle getting pulled back, and all the good stuff. So, I mean, the reason why Kvoth is doing this is he's preparing for Earthquake, is my guess. If he puts all of his military buildings around this town center, if Earthquake gets dropped down, then it doesn't do all too much. As we do see the military barracks, counter barracks coming down as well. And Hermes is the god of choice. The villagers will be making their way over. Drop that town center, as well as... I'm surprised to see that Hippolyta not coming out here from Rapl. This is an interesting one. So normally the meta is for Greek players to get their Hippolyta out straight away. Oh, we are seeing it coming out. Must have just been a slight mistake here. Now, the reason why it's meta is just because the unit is so strong. But the fact of the matter is, if you're not going to be doing anything with said heroes, it's actually better to not build them. Why? Because this Hippolyta takes 17 seconds. That's 17 seconds of training time. Every villager is going to get more of when it pops out. So this means that every villager you get before this Hippolyta comes out is worth roughly 17 resources. So if you get 4 villagers more, you're looking at 80 resources. 5 villagers, 20 resources. This is not quite right. It's a little bit less, but you get the point. So this Hippolyta here, it's not a necessity to rush this one out. And I think that players maybe need to start considering that in the back of their mind as a way to kind of just delay that Hippolyta as much as you possibly can until you start seeing the units come through. You need to defend against this. Like right now, Hippolyta is pretty good, but Hippolyta could have come out significantly later, had a lot more resources to play with, and been in a slightly better position. But he's over here anyways, and Rapl going to be pulling him back for the time being. Buildings coming up. Let's take a look at what Kvoth's plan is. Kvoth, he's made himself 1 catapulty here, 1 catapulty, heroized it, made a Terma, no longer making Terma anymore, no longer making military units. He's gone for a town center. No surprises where that's concerned. And we'll see which way he's going to go. I think that potentially this town center would be the best one. This town center a little bit further away from the enemy base there to grab for a 3rd town center wouldn't go astray. And we do see that citizen making its way forward to grab this one. I love that play there from Kvoth. Very smart. He does need to be putting some sort of pressure onto Rapl. But Rappel's got his towers up. His base is looking a little bit scary. And we'll see how things are going to go. As the Katoskabot's here for Rapl, searching around, looking for something to see. He probably doesn't. I mean, you don't really need to see the main base, but checking this town center, checking this town center, checking this town center out, ensuring that this one isn't going the wayside of Kvoth here is going to be vitally important as we do see the units pushing through here. And now we're starting to see the Toxotes coming out. Do we have any stables? I'm surprised to see, in all honesty, archery ranges up. Now, it's not that Toxotes are necessarily that bad against Atlantean, but against the Terma, they're relatively bad. And we'll see how things are going to go. But archery ranges both up. Kvoth over here, grabbing his town center in a good position there. We do see Kvoth starting to push in here. As the villagers going to be pulling back. The Hippocon spots it over here, and a little bit annoying. Doesn't really do all too much. 2 damage a second. Doesn't slow this town center down that much, but Rapl is now aware of what's going on. So he might start considering, maybe I can grab this town center. If you're getting your 2nd and potentially 3rd town center, maybe, just maybe. And he is chucking it up now over there as well with 2 villages. I like that idea. Normally we see the Atlantean players just 1 citizen on this. This basically guarantees that it's going to be going up, and that timing kind of goes out the window that sometimes Greek players can hit. As we do see an armory coming up over there. More Toxotes coming down. Rapl seems to be aiming here for some sort of semi-fast heroic off the back of this, as his towers do defend this. Walls coming up on this position as well to defend that, as the Katoskabos does spot this one. Both the town centers for Kvoth will be up here. He's a little bit short on that food here at the moment, so he can't actually get that villager out as he does now managed to do so. Citizen is through, and the hero Mamilo is in hot pursuit of this Katoskabos. Katoskabos is fast enough to retreat away, but Rapl is not really going to be wanting to control that for all too long. Maybe retreating it back home, getting away from that Mamilo hero. Not a bad idea, as the tower's over here, getting a little bit of damage. Could deconstruct this one. Deconstruction is not a bad thing to use there, and he does decide to drop that onto the watchtower. It does give these villagers back the resources, and we do see an immediate tower coming down. Funnily enough, I would just pull this back because he's got this gold mine over here that's getting grabbed from. He can just pull these villagers off of this off of this gold here, jump them onto the cows here, bring some villagers over here off of the food, put them onto this gold mine and be completely fine. He is trying to get this town center up over here as well. There is an opportunity to just drop a ceasefire here if he needs to. He does have a handful of units coming through here as well as the Oracle Hero going to get taken out as the army of Kvoth still not paying attention to come down and try and stop this town center from finishing up there, as we will see the watchtower coming up here for Rapl to hold on. Town center, will it get up is the big question. More units coming in here. Ceasefire is available though for Rapl, and honestly, you just click it here, and he does, and it should be completely fine. This isn't the best usage of ceasefire. Normally you want to use ceasefire to give yourself that extra minute to get up to full population. At this point, Kvoth is just simply going to be going up to full population. Rapl, on the other hand, he is still not even in... He hasn't clicked up to the heroic age just yet. And there's probably going to be this crazy amount of Prometheans coming in. And we also see alluvial clay coming through for these Prometheans as well. 175 HP coming in here for these Prometheans is a very, very big deal. Check out the HP going up, the damage going up, I think, as well. I think I'm wrong about that. No, it's just HP. So up to 227 HP allows him to tank onto this town center for so much longer. Rapl, on the other hand, he's clicked up through Aphrodite, which may be a little bit overzealous here, but with the buildings coming up around this town center, this is very, very smart. He's going to be able to hold this town center that little bit easier, allowing that Hippolyta to get some damage done from afar here. We will be seeing the military academy getting sniped down here, but at the moment, Rapl is going to be able to start slowly making his way up to full population as the Ark is getting pulled back. One very easy way to give himself somewhat of an advantage here is just garrison those Toxotes into the town center, and that's going to give him upwards of 20, well there it is, 21 damage a second, a significant boost to the damage that the town center does without those Toxotes falling. But Kvoth, he is ready to be all inning this position, but Aphrodite is just about to hit Kvoth at this moment. Full population here, full send, full go. Curse comes down, 133 population remaining here. Hippolyta is still sniping down Promethean series. They are moving in onto this position, doing tons and tons of damage here as well. And it looks to me like Rapl has hold this position. He also gets himself an Nemean line here. There is a Valor remaining, which Kvoth hasn't clicked just yet, so he can use that one to try and take out this Nemean line if he so chooses, and he does decide to do so. He gets 3 hero Terma over here, going to start taking out that Nemean line as it's retreating away ever so slightly. But it looks to me like Rapl has held this town center. He is struggling for resources. He is up on this hunt over here as well, as one villager does get spotted over here. 104 HP on this Promethean. I think it now beats a villager 1v1 there as well with that alluvial clay. Love that play, and Kvoth at this point, is he sending some units up here is the big question, as this Promethean offspring is just going to continue jabbing away with 5 HP onto that position there, as we do see the heroic age coming through here for Kvoth. He is going through Rhea here, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be a big, big assistance moving forward here for Kvoth. He's going to be able to, well, one trader, any myth units that are going to be coming out here for Rapl, but more importantly, the behemoth are going to come through, and they are going to be able to tear down this town center. This is one of those things where a lot of Atlantean players complain they don't really have the best of siege. Destroyers aren't the best, Fire Siphon aren't the best. Behemoth, pretty darn good, especially against Greek, who have got, and they do have heroes, but if you get the Arcus out to snipe those heroes down, it can be a very, very good position. Hey, Post Stallone, how you going, my friend? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. As the irrigation is in here for Rapl as his farm's coming up. Going to be retreating back ever so slightly. The Paspist, they are in here for Rapl as well. So now Rapl's army is starting to look very, very dangerous against this Kvoth army. Kvoth making these Terma en masse. This is something that I kind of say you don't want to do very much as Kronos, because they kind of become dead units very, very quickly. As the Paspist coming through, we do see those Hippocon trying to get in good micro here from Rapl, pulling in and around As the Behemoth is through as well. That has got its eyes set on this location to take it down. Rapl, on the other hand, does he have any upgrades? He is getting himself fortified town centers in. That will help with the defense, but something that will help a little bit more with the defense is going to be Atlanta, ladies and gentlemen. As is Kvoth getting himself more? No, he's not. The Behemoth is just going to come in and be a lone soldier here. As the army duking it out, we do see the Contarius slowly starting to come out for Kvoth. He's at full population. Same two, I assume, is Rapl. Both players fighting decently, making good trades here. The Behemoth is now in. Contarius tries to take out the Politer, but he's not going to be able to do all too much. But the thing is that the Behemoth here, it's got 75% pierce armor, and it's got that HP regen. But with Theseus popping out, that's going to be put a stop to. Only 30% hack armor means this Theseus cleans that one up very, very quickly. There's now the Hippocon coming through, going to take out the Terma and everything else over here as well. The Paspis is going to be retreating back. Hippocon going to be retreating back. Another palace up for Kvoth. Kvoth is so good at this kind of palace spam shenanigans. He's never like so low on resources he can't do this. And this is such a vitally important thing to do when you're sieging a town center, because it means you get the damage advantage. 14 damage per second times 3 versus a town center at 18 damage per second times 2. That 14 damage is going to be doing more as we see some more units coming through here for Kvoth. He's even making himself some catapulties here to take out those Hippocon. Smart idea. These catapulties are probably the best units to kill off cavalry in the game. They're the most bang for your buck. They do the most damage at 5.5 times, what is that, 200%, doing something like 15, 16 damage a second. Huge amount of damage there as the Rapl units turning around. We do see the palace coming through onto this position here and try and get that palace up. And now Rapl is still on the back foot. The big thing that Rapl does have access to, and this might be something that Kvoth needs to play around, and he's already started playing around it ever so slightly, is Earthquake. If you get enough buildings in onto this position, just start time shifting these buildings right onto these palaces. Then Earthquake does nothing on this position. You can actually hold it against that Earthquake. It's one of the Earthquake is one of the strongest god powers in the game. It's the strongest god power in the game to clean buildings. But you can play around it just by putting a lot of those low cost 1300 HP, 1400 HP buildings there, as well as the palace just about to come up. We do see the army going to be pulling back here as Rapl defending there nicely. He has set up the market in the corner. He's trying to expand down onto this bottom part of the map. He's got gold mines down here as well. This top position here, less good. One thing that I think that Kvoth isn't doing so well here is utilizing his time shift god power. He is pushing 40, and what I mean by utilizing the time shift god power is simply send a citizen over onto this gold mine, time shift in a military building, build a building there, time shift a building over here, just send a unit around to give yourself line of sight, and that can be a really, really big thing. We do see the Mythic Age coming through here now for Kvoth. He's decided to go through Helios, which is the Vortex and Hecate Mythic Age god, allowing him to teleport around the map and get those incredibly strong Gigantes out. We'll see if he's going to time shift that temple fort. He still hasn't really protected these town centers against any sort of potential earthquake, so that could be a problem for him in the future. But Rapl at this point, he is very low on the resources. He is not going to be getting Mythic Age anytime soon. He's not trading all too well. Fighting underneath the palace here as well is a big advantage here for Kvoth, though. Kvoth spending the resources on the Mythic Age instead of on tech means that this timing is going to be hurting quite a bit. As the Arcus over here getting some good damage done. 4 palaces, this one not really attacking units here, are getting involved in this. That's so much extra DPS coming through for Kvoth on this battle as that Mythic Age just about to come in. The question is, where do you attack? How many destroyers does he have? He's got 5 destroyers out at the moment, plus Gigantes. Probably not enough to make all too much happen. You kind of just want to get rid of your Arcus and make nothing but melee units, especially get rid of those Terma. They are absolutely useless. The other thing you want is to have a little bit of resources in reserve, so when you actually click the Vortex, then you can time shift in a palace right next to wherever you vortex. It can be a really, really good way to play, as we do see the destroyers starting to target down this town center ever so slightly. No fire siphons getting made just yet. There is a Gigantes out. That's such a strong unit in terms of DPS, but in terms of HP and armor, it's very, very weak. So if it's not getting attacked by a hero, it is going to absolutely pummel through every building in front of its path. But if it gets attacked, it gets dealt with really quickly. It's a bit of a strange unit, but it's a good unit. As we do see a behemoth coming out here. Do we see anything coming out of this position? We do see the Gigantes coming in. We'll see if Kvoth is going to be paying attention here, because he needs to start pushing this one in. Do we see towers? Yes, we do. As now, we're finally starting to see the time shift coming in onto this position. Absolutely love this here from Kvoth. This is what makes Hades so much better than Oranos and Gaia, is his ability to push in and get this damage done while everything is going on. As we do see the behemoth popping out, one Gigante does get taken out. Another behemoth coming through here, as the behemoth going to be breaking down this position. The town center looks like it will be falling here, as the fire siphon slowly starting to get damage done here as well. Lots and lots of gold in the bank here for Kvoth to pump out his units here. I don't think he started a trade route either, so he is just sitting one town center for the time being as these units getting pulled away. One thing that you can do here, if you want to shift the field of battle while still preventing the town center from going up, is you can garrison a fire siphon into your palace here, and you can then vortex onto this town center over here. That means the fire siphon will stay, and you can continue to prevent this town center from going up while you're killing off a second town center as well. As the army here is just so strong, and Rapl, he's just got nothing left in the tank. He's trying to make this trade route happen, and he just says, you know what, I just can't hold against the might that is Kronos here in this game. And I mean, you have to ask the question, why did this happen in this game to Rapl? What did Kvoth do so much better? He didn't get more units killed than lost. He didn't really have any more citizens. So the civilian difference here, I mean, I think the answer has to be economic upgrades. He's got fully economic upgraded over here versus Rapl, who, I mean, he's got himself the quarry, but he's significantly far behind on that hand axe there. And what's that other relic here that he had on the citizen? He's got the Cathar of Apollo, so he basically feels like he's playing Gaia here as well with those villagers. But Rapl, he just could not hold on in this game. His army was just not cutting it. And I wonder if it's maybe something to do with that fast second town center that just didn't quite work here. And Kvoth getting his own free 3 town centers up, booming incredibly hard, while Rapl couldn't get this one up. Potentially, if he was going to use ceasefire to get the town center down, maybe it would have been better to just, okay, see, he's going 3 town centers. Let's just get our town center up. If he sees us, let's click ceasefire. Might have been a better idea. I mean, alternatively, there's a great comment here in the chat by Eluciti, which was maybe not going 3 town centers and just going for the Mythic Age off of 2 town centers would have been another very, very useful way to play. Getting that Plenty Vault out, getting the Colossus out, getting everything he needs to kind of push back and get himself that 3rd town center, especially Colossus with a ceasefire. He could have grabbed the town center later and been in a much better position as well. I don't know. Well played by Kvoth nonetheless. Strong player, showing that Kronos can take down some of these lower tier gods if you're playing well enough. If you guys enjoyed it, please consider that follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.